Hi, I'm Shae, and welcome to the Shae Era. In this series, we are talking about my creative journey through the artist way by Julia Cameron. Week 5 is about recovering a sense of possibility. Now, this is going into depth about understanding that the world is infinite. The universe is infinite. The amount of possibilities that come from you just putting in the effort to be creative, endless. There's so many opportunities and possibilities that can come from you just being your real self, because you have to put yourself out there to see what's available for you to even participate in. By this time in this process, it's very normal to feel like an imposter. Imposter syndrome starts to kick in, and you start to be like, am I worthy of the opportunities that are coming my way? Is it possible that I could do this? Is it becoming possible I could do this? This is where the universe kicks in and starts to show you the work that you've been doing that you didn't even know that you were doing, because you've been so deep dive, nose deep in the book, that you didn't even see that you did so much stuff. And it started like, you don't realize how much work you really have done up until this point, and that all the momentum that you've built up in these 5 weeks and all these different experiences that you've had just from allowing yourself to be this creative individual that you were made to be. This is where we need to start to understand that from a spiritual aspect, our bank accounts are unlimited. And it's only the limits that we place on ourselves that keep us from experiencing the joys and the expansion of life that's out there for us. It's a spiritual representation of what you give is what you get. And really understanding the work and the effort that you put into being your best self, you'll start to get and reap the rewards of everything that you've been doing. But some of us may not even realize that, or not even see it for what it really is, because we're like, oh, I'm not worthy of that. Yes, you are. Look at all the work that you done did till you got up here. What? There are people out here not doing anything. You did that. Let's give you a round of applause. Everyone has equal access to the universal supply. The creator has no limits. Source has no limits. Source is infinite. There are so many things, so many possibilities that come from you just being you. And these possibilities come from you being you. There are people out there just like you. There are people that are going along these journeys, because it's not about the destination. It's about the journey and how you got there. Because when you get to the destination, a lot of the times we're like, okay, now what? Or we'll get there and we see all these people that have got there too, but we all have had our own individual journeys to get to that point. So that's what makes it unique. That's what makes it different. Even though we all are trying to get to the same place, it's all about how you personally got there. How did you follow the flow of life? How did you respond to life? Everybody has different life experiences that create different forms of art, and that creates different things. It's all about getting into the dance of life, getting in flow with your life. That's the importance. Get in flow with your life. What are you here to do? What do you like? What do you want to do? What do you want out of life? So this is where you really start to get more accepting about who you are and what you've been put here to do, and understanding to have faith along the whole process. Trusting the process is a big key to this. It's about allowing yourself to be gentle while you're going through this exploration of yourself, of learning who you are, what you like, what you want to do, and what your purpose is. You have to understand that that requires a certain level of vulnerability, that requires safety. If yourself, your creative self, the inner artist, your inner child does not feel safe enough to express itself, it won't come out. Something else that she talks about is the virtue trap. Now, let me explain what the virtue trap is. When you're afraid to prioritize your own needs and desires because they value their reputation. That's where you value being a good person over being your true self, which still also may be a good person, but the good person that you're trying to be fits the bill of somebody else's perspective. And that's where that false self comes in, and you start to fit this persona that everybody else has of you, and you're not being true with yourself. And that creates the virtue trap, because now you're like, oh, they think of me this way, so I must be this way. I'm gonna need you to stop right there. No. There's this quote that blew my mind when I first heard it, and it helps me understand what the false self really is. And it goes like this: I'm not what I think I am. I'm not what you think I am. I am what I think you think I am. You're pretending to be somebody that you think they think you are, instead of just being who you actually are. Don't do that. Oh, the light's dimming. Hold on. Now for the check-in. So look, we did 7 out of 7 this week. I'm feeling better. I'm not sick anymore. thank God. I feel like this week for my morning pages, it was more so about finding the beauty in the struggle, okay? Now let me explain. I was recovering from the flu, but I still managed on that day after I allowed myself to rest. I still told myself, okay, I still need to get up and clean up. I need to get back in the flow. I need to get back in, healing myself, drink some water, get my vitamin C, do all of that stuff just so I can have the energy to get back into how I was trying to live my life, get back into the flow of where I'm trying to get to, build my routine back up. Even though it might have took a little bit, it's still a little rocky, I'm still getting back in the flow, but I'm at least making the effort to keep the promises I made myself with doing my morning routine at the minimum, and that is doing my 10 minutes of yoga, my 10 minutes of meditating, and my 20 to 30 minutes of my morning pages. I try my best to focus on the gains that I've got in my life over the losses. With all the different jobs that I've had that I didn't like, or the different people that I were in my life, and just thinking about all the things that I gained from those experiences have really helped shape my positive thinking and remove a lot of my negative thinking and my negative habits. Because if you focus more on the positive things, you'll manifest more of those positive opportunities into your life. One thing that people have a hard time really understanding is that, when you think about the negative things, you're just gonna keep getting more negative things to match that frequency of which you're vibrating at. So if you want to eliminate the negativity, you have to start to replace it with something else. So for every negative thought, you want to overload it with positivity, because negativity is so dense that we don't really think about the effects that it could really have. And that's why it takes so much more positivity to overpower that. But then once you get the consistency of having those positive habits, you build the momentum where negativity doesn't even want to exist because it can't stick. So most of this time was me building up my affirmations and building up my motivation and my flow and being gentle with myself and understanding that, life circumstances happen, life happens, things happen. But what are you going to do to get back in the flow? What are you doing to keep that promise to yourself? What are you doing that's going to make this work out the way that you want it to work out? Okay? So for my artist day, I didn't really do anything too creative. My mind was still kind of recovering from having flu brain. I allowed myself to work through the blockages that I was having. I used this week to really heal myself for real. And with that, I was able to notice I have this huge block that's blocking a certain level of vulnerability in me that will help take me to the next level of where I'm trying to get to. So I used my artist date or my creativity time to be with myself and really understand what it is that I'm feeling in these moments, and all these emotions about my past coming up, and all these different experiences that I experienced that I didn't allow myself to feel. So when I set the intention to remove any and all blockages from my being, that's when things started to come to the surface and realize, oh yeah, that did happen. Oh yeah, I did have that thought. But instead of me just visualizing or seeing these things, I was allowing myself to feel what I was feeling at the time of those things happening. And that alone opened up a whole new realm for me, with understanding that the things that I did experience in that time really did affect me. But because of so much disassociation that I was feeling throughout my whole life, I wasn't allowing myself to really feel what I really needed to feel, if that makes any sense. A lot of the blockages that I had, I'm allowing them to dissolve and actually remove them from myself so that I can allow the flow of creativity to come through me in the most authentic way possible. In conclusion, we have made it through week 5. We are now on our way to week 6, which is about recovering a sense of abundance. So now that we understand what possibilities are, I don't know what to expect in this week, but I'm so excited for being at week 6. We're halfway there. If you're with me, congratulations. You did it. We did it. Hey, let's keep going, okay? Don't get distracted. Keep going and keep the promises you made to yourself, okay? Every step you take is a masterpiece in the making. What's one new creative challenge you'd like to try? Let me know down in the comments. And we out. Where's the remote? George?